CBS News senior national security analyst Fran Townsend is here. She was a Homeland Security and counterterrorism advisor to President George W. Bush. Fran, good morning.
Good morning, John.
I'd like to start with this McCabe firing. Based on your experience, how unusual is this? He was fired for this, supposedly this lack of candor. How big a deal of that? Just what's your read on this?
So, one, it's very unusual that you'd see the firing of a deputy director. It's not that it's never happened before, but it's very unusual. Second, the most serious offense that you can accuse in terms of conduct for an FBI official, in terms of their character, is a lack of candor. Let's remember, FBI agents make their living by swearing under oath to the truth of affidavits that courts then grant search warrants, arrest warrants on. And so a lack of candor is a fireable offense if the underlying conduct supports it.
And the underlying conduct here was adjudicated not by President Trump, but by officials inside the FBI, the disciplinary officials inside the FBI. So those are career people, right?
There were two sets of career people, right? So first, it's the Department of Justice Inspector General Mike Horowitz, who was an Obama appointee, who also did the investigation into Fast and Furious, which was an embarrassment to the Attorney General Eric Holder at the time. Very independent-minded, has an independent reporting line to Congress. So he does an investigation, finds a lack of candor. It then goes to the FBI career officials in the Office of Professional Responsibility, who agree with their findings that there was a lack of candor and agree with the recommendation of firing.
The Trump administration has been accused, I heard over the weekend, of being vindictive and mean-spirited. But when you look at it, the bottom line, it came from the FBI itself. I think many people were surprised by the harshness of it and the timing, especially the loss of his pension. Could anything be done about that?
You know, Gail, I find we don't believe in collective punishment, right? And so the people who are going to pay the price here are McCabe's wife and children. And that seems horribly unfair. It reminds me, going back to the Robert Hansen case, here's a man who was an FBI agent who pled guilty to treason. And as part of his plea agreement, what he bargained for was that his wife receive his pension. Now, I can't tell you how that got executed and she got it, but that was the plea deal that the government entered into because we don't believe in collective punishment. And so in some ways, it seems sort of tragic and unfair to pull. It's one thing to fire him for a lack of candor, assuming that that's legitimate. It's another thing to pull the pension, and I think that's really
on the surface, though, it does look vindictive. Should we not take it that way?
Well, I think we have to wait and see, right? The other interesting thing, Gail, is that they took this decision, right, because he was going to officially be retired on Sunday. But that report has not been completed and released yet. Now, presumably the deciding officials did see it. But it feels vindictive just because it was the timing of it and the way it was handled.
And as we mentioned, this was the first time over the weekend that the president specifically went after Mueller in a tweet. In your opinion, is the president laying the groundwork to firing Bob Mueller?
You know, I don't think you necessarily have to think it's laying the groundwork to fire him, because many in the Republican Party have said that would be an act too far. But I think you have to take it at face value. This is the president sort of throwing what I'd call an inside pitch at Mueller, saying, remember, this is something I can do. It's that sort of threatening tone to it that's so offensive, frankly.
All right, Fran Townsend, to be continued.
Yeah. Thank you.
Changes every day. Thank you, Fran.